Hello. This code review is going to focus on setting up jQuery data tables and retrieving the data through the API that we set up in the last session. After installing the data tables library and the bootbox library that's going to handle the confirmation modal, we can start to build the functionality. So let's start in the bundleconfig.cs, where we've moved all of our JS libraries to a single libs bundle. And we're going to also make the change to our layout.cshtml. And then we can start modifying our DTO files to work with our domain-specific class genre. Because the DTO doesn't have any idea about C# classes, we're just going to copy over our genre class from our original model and remove the data annotations. Then we need to update our mapping profile.cs file to include the genre to genre DTO mapping. Then we move to our movies controller.cs class inside the API folder. And we're going to make one change here, and that's this get movies route needs to be an iHTTP action result. And also this movie DTO's variable now has this include method with the lambda expression for the genre context, and that just shows that we're going to include that in the query, that object in the query to the database context. Finally, we can get to our movies view, our root movies view. You can see I've added a couple CSS style selectors in the style tag at the top, the data tables filter, and the pagination. And I've used Flexbox to move those to the right side of their container, and added a 3% margin to the bottom of the filter just so it gives it a little space between the search box and the table itself. You can see here we've also added an ID to the table so we can select it later with jQuery, and we've removed the table body entirely. So now in our jQuery script, after the document is fully loaded, we'll select that movies tag and use the data table method we'll use the data table method and send it this object that has two keys, Ajax and columns. Ajax is just going to make the request to our API endpoint, and then columns is going to format that data in the table. Now, our name and our ID are going to have some interactivity, so we use this render key to make the HTML pretty well what we see on the screen. But you'll notice in the delete column, we add this JS delete class to all of our buttons so that we can select it down here and give it an on-click event handler that uses, or that fires this callback that uses the beatbox library to create a confirmation modal, and if it's successful, it makes an Ajax call again to our movies API, and it deletes it. And on the success of that HTTP request, we're going to remove the table row that the event handler started from, without reloading the page. This turns out to be the big selling point for web applications because a page reload can be costly with time and jarring to the user because they see everything re-render. Thank you for watching this code review.